Thereof in the Grade 1 Alanna Holmes champion Novice hurdle, just south of 2 miles 5 furlongs, in his final demand, who is the leader early on from Eastern Legend, racing together the yellow clay and Bellocchio the grey, who's followed by stable companion Funicula, and then the 2 visiting runners, Tripoli Flyer, Queensbury Boy, and dropped out by 2.5 at the back of the field is Lovely Hurling. Over the first they go. Tripoli Flyer's rider Jonathan Burke has just recovered his left arm as they make tracks to flight number 2 before the straight. Final demand, backed off it. Eastern Legend alongside, followed by the yellow clay Bellocchio, picking up a place or 2. Queensbury Boy, and then Funicula, Tripoli Flyer, and Lovely Hurling. Turning into the straight to flight number 3. Final demand and Paul Townend in front from Eastern Legend, Kieran Buckley. Just third is the yellow clay and Sam Ewing. Continuing to work up to the leaders is Queensbury Boy and David Maxwell. In by the rail is Bellocchio and Rachel Blackmore, and then Funicula. Danny Mullins with the final couple, Tripoli Flyer, Jonathan Burke, and Lovely Hurling, Mark Walsh. As the 8 runners pass the judge the first time, and its final demand stretching on by 2 1/4 lengths to Eastern Legend. In third is the yellow clay, out to uphold the turner's form with the 1 in front final demand. Queensbury Boy is up into 4th, and then Bellocchio, Funicula, Tripoli Flyer, and 3 lengths to Lovely Hurling as they go away from that one. Mistaken last by Lovely Hurling. Making the bend to flight number 5, its final demand by 2.5 to Eastern Legend. Third is the yellow clay, and 4th is Queensbury Boy as they rise to the 5th. Queensbury Boy followed by Bellocchio, and then Funicula, Tripoli Flyer last but 1, and still trailing the field on the downhill is Lovely Hurling. A little more stretched out, racing to flight number 6, which will bring them inside the halfway stage. The Alanna Holmes champion Novice hurdle Grade 1, its final demand. In front from the start, followed by Eastern Legend, the yellow clay third. After the yellow clay, Queensbury Boy, and then Bellocchio. The back 3 are Funicula, Tripoli Flyer, and Lovely Hurling. Turning down the far side with another 5 flights left to jump. And they tighten up again. Final demand with a reduced advantage of a length over Eastern Legend. Third is the yellow clay, and 4th Queensbury Boy, and 5th is Bellocchio, and then Funicula as they go away from the first of 2 in the back straight. Funicula followed by Tripoli Flyer and Lovely Hurling. Right across from the stands with a mile to go. They're almost back at the point at which they started, and it is final demand. Leading the way still to Eastern Legend, the yellow clay third, and then Queensbury Boy. As they race the end of a circuit, Queensbury Boy followed by Bellocchio, Funicula, Tripoli Flyer, and Lovely Hurling. Passing their point of departure. Good run of 3 out. The Alanna Holmes champion Novice, its final demand, and Paul Townend. Now followed through by the yellow clay and Sam Ewing, who are within a length. Eastern Legend relegated to a disputing third under Kieran Buckley, with Queensbury Boy, David Maxwell, and Bellocchio, Rachel Blackmore, and then Funicula, Tripoli Flyer, and Lovely Hurling. 3 out, final demand. Jumped it beautifully, extended the lead at 3 over the yellow clay, ridden away from the hurdle. Followed then by Queensbury Boy, Bellocchio. On the move from the back is Lovely Hurling. And then comes Tripoli Flyer, Funicula, and losing contact is Eastern Legend. The yellow clay is now passed for second by Lovely Hurling, who sets off in pursuit of final demand. Running round the home turn for the final flight, it is final demand, and Paul Townend by 2 lengths to Lovely Hurling, and Mark Walsh are now driven along in second to try and close. The yellow clay 4 lengths down in third, and then Tripoli Flyer and Bellocchio, but it is final demand. pouring under pressure, coming to the final flight, and it is Final Demand further clear. Over the last goes Final Demand with the Alanna Holmes champion Novice Hurdle 1 in impressive style as Final Demand restores winning ways for Paul Townend and Willie Mullins. It's an absolute rout. Lovely Hurling second, third Tripoli Flyer, and staying on for fourth for Nicola.
Well, that was the sort of performance I think many expected from Final Demand at the Cheltenham Festival. It didn't go his way that day, but he certainly set the record straight back on home soil here. First things first, fingers crossed for the Yellow Clay and Sam Ewing, who took a heavy fall at the final flight there when well held in third. It's his old rival, Final Demand, who's made just about all the running to win here at 7-4. Jumped really well in the main on the front end today as well. The Yellow Clays jumping uncharacteristically deserted him in large parts, and Final Demand turning away the challenge of Lovely Hurling. He's run a huge race himself, Don, coming from the back of the field to give chase early in the straight, but ultimately couldn't lay a glove on the winner.
No, he couldn't, Gary. Like, really good run by Lovely Hurling for such an inexperienced horse to come from the back like he did, and he was the only one to mount a challenge to Final Demand on the run to the home turn as the Yellow Clay wilted. But yeah, reiterate your sentiments. Hopefully the Yellow Clay and Sam Ewing are both okay, but Final Demand, what a performance out in front from early. Paul Townend, as many predicted he would, just started to squeeze from a fair way out. This horse, he's got loads of stamina, but he's got loads of class and ability as well, and here's where Lovely Hurling got to within maybe about 2.5, maybe 3 lengths of him on the run around the home turn, but before they get to the last, Final Demand has put the race to bed. His only danger is the final flight in front of him, and he jumped that really well, and he's continued to pour it on all the way to the line, coming further and further away. This is 2.5 miles, Gary. It's probably a minimum trip for him. He's such an exciting horse. What he's been doing over hurdles is fantastic for a horse. It's probably going to be even better when he stretches out and trip and goes over fences as well. He's only a 6-year-old. This is only his 4th run over hurdles. He won his only point-to-point as well for Matthew O'Connor, and he's just been so impressive in putting good horses to the sword here today.
He's powered through the line as well, hasn't he? Final Demand looking every inch a superstar today. Big run from the second, Lovely Hurling, done a huge step up for him from winning a maiden hurdle into this sort of company, for all that it was a decent maiden, but he didn't look out of place at all, did he? No. That big move he made from the back caught the eye in no uncertain terms.
It did, and it took us jumping a little while to warm up as well, Gary. He was just a wee bit sticky over his first 2 flights, which you can understand. It's only his 3rd run over hurdles, and stepping up from winning a maiden on soft ground at Naas last time, winning it well, and a maiden that's been working out well, but into taking on the best novices around. Yeah, he acquitted himself really well. He made that decisive move through the pack in order to get onto the coattails of Final Demand. Ultimately, he could